Okay, so the first thing we're going to address, we just need some guys that can catch the ball, right? Because as a unit, we did lead the nation in drops. It was like 36 or 37 drops.
What's going on, Dog Nation and Respect the Hedges family, man? We in here to preview the class of 2025, position by position. It's your boy, Coach I. You know I got my guy with me, Shouty. What's going on, Shouty?
Coach, what it do? What it do? What's happening?
Hey, man, we got to look at the future of the Dogs, man, coming through Athens, man, and see. Listen, this is a position we're going to talk about today that we are in dire need of some upgrades. You know what I'm saying? So, if you're new to the channel, man, it's Respect the Hedges, all things Georgia Bulldogs, especially football, man. We do live streams on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, mainly during the football season, but also during the spring as well. So make sure y'all tap in with us, man. Like, subscribe, and share it with some more dogs so we can grow the family. Like I say, man, we in here to talk wide receivers for the class of 2025. So listen, today we're going to talk about just the high school recruits. We got 5 wide receivers in the class of 2025. We're not going to talk about the transfer portal wide receivers. We'll hit them on a different day. So let's go ahead and jump into this thing, man. So let's start out like this, Shawty. We have 5 wide receivers, man. And when I looked at the 247 composite, all of them are 4 stars except for one, and it's a 5-star. So just off of rankings, seems like we did address our need for the wide receiver. Give me your thoughts on the wide receiver play and what we need out of this class.
As a whole,
Yeah, like
okay.
what we was lacking in 2024 and what we need to see in 2025.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to address, we just need some guys that can catch the ball, right? Because as a unit, we did lead the nation in drops. It was like 36 or 37 drops. That's
Right.
unacceptable, right? So we definitely need some guys that can come in and concentrate and catch the ball. That's the main thing that we need. But with that being said, we're gonna also need to address a couple of spots. We're gonna need some speed. We lost some speed, right? With the
Right.
we lost our speeds to Arian Smith, who probably
Who's
led
that?
the team in drops.
Right, who's actually at the Senior Bowl, leaving everybody in the dust and catching everything.
Look at that. Look at that. Well, he's trying to get that money, coach.
Right,
So,
right.
so we're gonna have to address a speed factor. Then we're gonna also have to address size,
Mm.
possession.
We
Somebody who can
definitely
be
we definitely need that considering we lost Ra in the offseason and then lost Kobe Young at the beginning of the season. So we kind of was missing that. You're right about that.
so when you're talking about, and we're gonna also need to address somebody, coach, that can run everything in the route tree. We need the whole shebang bang, speed, possession, and route running ability from everybody.
I definitely agree with all those points, man. Somebody that can catch, somebody that can run all the routes, a 50-50 guy, some size. And I want to see somebody that not just run the route tree, but can really route a DB up. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to talk about that with one of the guys in particular today. Um, we're going to start out. So I asked you to look at the class. I looked at the class, and then at least we're going to talk about all the guys, but I want you to save your guy for last. Whoever your guy in the class is, I want you to save him for last. I'm gonna start out with a guy that a lot of people are seeing because of some eye popping things that happen on social media, and one of the reasons why he was recruited, and that's Landon Roldan. This guy is 6 foot 180. He's a 247 composite 4-star, 66 ranked wide receiver in the nation. And the thing that pops out that everybody knows about is the blazing speed. This guy right here is I want to say a track runner. You can see it easily on film, regardless of the classification he's leaving, guys. And but that too, we have to take that into consideration. But he did run I want to say when he worked out for the Georgia coaches, he ran a 4.35. I think he ran according to the Georgia coaches laser time. So I would say that we could trust his speed. What I will say is what I like about him, of course, it seems like he's an athlete because on his film he played a little DB, probably in the need for his high school team. A lot of these guys can play both ways, man, when they come into Georgia because they just those type of athletes. You know what I'm saying? But Some things I would like to see more from him is what you said earlier, the route tree. You know what I'm saying? It looked like a lot of go balls, a couple of posts, but mostly just get behind the defense and outrunning them. I want to see some people like, I know the Georgia fans want to compare him to Ladd already, but Ladd was just as quick laterally as he was fast vertically.
Ladd was a route runner. He was a technician.
Technician, right? And I know this guy is young. I think he's a project. That's what I want to see. If I would say some improvements, I want to see him be able to, like you said, run all the routes in the route tree and be that type of technician. Because if you can be a route technician with the speed that he has, that's how you become a Ladd McConkey. So that's my first guy up on the board, and you can give me your thoughts on Landon. Now, if Landon's your guy, you can save it for the end, but that's what I want to start to talk off.
He's not my guy. One thing when I watch film on the kid, one thing I will say about the kid, that the biggest thing that stood out to me watching film on him was he's very consistent. Like, he does everything well.
Right.
I mean, that's the one thing that I saw about him. He catches very well. He gets behind the defense very well. He run a few routes that I've seen. We maybe seen some different takes. I think you sent some links, but I saw a few different other links where he did have a chance to run a few other things in the route tree. But he just does everything well. And the best thing I like about, like I said, he's just very, very consistent. Now, the classification he play in, I mean, 4-3 is fast, no matter where you playing.
Right.
But it just looks a little different on the field. I mean, you could just tell he was the best athlete on the field on some of those games. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, Coach, I like what the young man has, what he bringing to the table. Like I said, for me, he's bringing the best thing that I know about him. He's bringing consistency. And I can tell when I watch film on him, Coach, this kid has been at a lot of camps. He's doing a lot of 7-on-7. That's what I can tell from a kid like that. He's doing a lot of training in the offseason.
Which means he's serious about his craft, which means that improvement over time will most likely come barring an injury or anything. For projections for him, I got Landon in the slot, possibly some time at the Z. And as far as playing time, I got him as a red shirt coming into the year, trying to develop his game. Wanted to see if he's again, listen, we all know Kirby, if you're not a willing blocker, then it don't matter what you're doing, every other aspect. I want to see, him put on some pounds of muscle, you know what I'm saying, and then get into see if he's that willing blocker. But I got him red shirting in his freshman year.
And let's be honest, Coach. Let's be real. They got him at 6 foot 180. He's not 6 feet. Let's just be honest. We know how the high school stats are, So he's gonna he's gonna need a little time. I agree with you. He's gonna need a little time to probably develop, get a little strong and things like that before he actually starts to get a little playing time.
Okay. Who's the next guy you want to talk about?
It doesn't matter because I can go down the list. How about Tyler Williams?
All right. Tyler Williams coming up, 6'1", 205 composite, 247 composite 4-star. He's the 53rd ranked wide receiver. Tell me what you like, what you think you need to improve on.
I definitely think when I see this kid here, I think he's a good athlete. But when I watch film, it was nothing that he did just exceptionally well that popped off the film to me. He's a little bit of a long strider to be a shorter guy. He seems like a long strider. So
that's the same thing.
Really? Yeah, he seems like a long strider. So that kind of makes me think that he's going to maybe need some help help with the route tree in terms of just getting more precise because he's a long strider. But being short, he should be more compact and be able to get in and out of cuts. But he looked like he just looked very long, but he's only 6 foot. But other than that, I mean, he catches the ball well. He tracks the ball well. I didn't see anything that just popped off the film to me. I think the thing that you said about the kid before, Landon, that's what I really feel about this particular kid. He's going to need a little help. He's going to be one of those longer projects. He's going to need a little bit more help. I actually think Landon should be ranked in front of this kid.
Got you. And as far as his size, I think he's one of the more balanced proportion when you talk about height to weight, because he is he looks like he's legit 200, 205, almost like a Dylan Bell type, you know what I'm saying? Maybe could have played running back depending on what system he was in type
Mm-hmm.
deal. And with those long strides, I thought in a different manner, but the same idea at path that you was on, that I wonder how his hips are. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
to get in and out of those breaks, I need
Mm-hmm.
to see if your hips are fluid. I did like his concentration. There was a couple of balls on the film that I saw where he was able to. Well, I think one of the passes he did like a 360 and caught the ball. And another time he had to track the ball. So I like this concentration. He was a willing blocker. He was one of the
Mm-hmm.
few out of the group that actually put blocking. And I actually look for that when I'm watching a wide receiver, especially being, in the Georgia fan base, because I know Kirby gonna want you to block. And then I saw some kick returns, which I always like to see from a wide receiver, because that means that you are comfortable running in open field and trying
Right.
to make people miss. But I'm with you. I see him as a project, more like a Z receiver. Also, I think he's gonna redshirt his
Right.
freshman year. So
Yeah, you
uh,
would think, looking at the film, you would think it was just amazing. I thought the kid was like 6'3".
the
I
way
mean,
he run,
yeah,
right?
when he run, I like he's sick. He got to be like 6'3", 6'4",
What's crazy, before I looked up his measurables, I thought he was 6'3". I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, we got it, because we had a couple of cycles ago, we had a Tyler Williams that came in from the state of Florida who was about 6'2" and a half, 6'3", transferred out. And I was like, okay, we just replaced him with another guy that's 6'3", especially after watching his film. But then I looked, I'm like, it's only 6'1"?
Right.
Like you say, take some long strides for a guy that's 6'1". So
And I wouldn't be surprised, a shot coach, if he changes position at some point, if he stays here long enough. It wouldn't shock me.
okay, I can see that. All right, man. Next up on my list is Thomas Blackshear. Thomas Blackshear. I know we want this guy really bad, because I heard about him, whether it was social media or watching Dog Insiders and things of that nature. Man, we was chasing this guy for a long time, and we got him, of course. He's 6'1", 197, at least he's listed that way. 247 composite 4-star, the number 36 wide receiver in the class. So a top 50 wide receiver is good. And the reason why I say that's good, if y'all go back and look at Georgia's history just overall, we don't get a lot of the top wide receivers. And I'm not talking about 5-star. I'm just talking about, we turn a lot of athletes into really good receivers, but we're starting to get more actual receivers. At least that's what they play. Because, like, for instance, one of my favorites, Terry Godwin, he played quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but he came in and became a really good receiver. I like the fact that we're getting receivers, people who actually play receiver in high school. What I like about him, Shawty, is he was really good after the catch. Out of all 5 people, he had the most film where he wasn't just getting behind the defense. He had a lot. The film I watched, he had a lot. And it was, what's crazy is it was from his sophomore and the beginning of his junior year. So I didn't even get to see any senior year film to see, how he might have developed. But this dude was catching a lot of hitches, a lot of just comebacks or stop routes. And then he was really good after the catch at making people miss and getting yacked, which I love. I love receivers that can get your ass after the catch. A lot of good body control. But it was either, what I saw from him was either screens or short passes or getting behind the defense. Again, this is going to be consistent for me for most of these receivers. I want to see more of the route tree. You know what I'm saying? so,
So
and so with that, like a lot of times he was catching with his body as well. Like I want to see. I'm not saying he doesn't have natural hands, but normally that's what that means if you catch with your body a lot. But that could also depend on ball placement and where the quarterback put it as well. But that's what I see from Thomas Blackshear.
hey, coach, it's amazing, man. It's like we watching film together, because that's basically what I had. He is out of this particular class, he is the best run not the catch kind of player. He is. That's one of the stars I had on my note about him. And I will say this right here. You just mentioned a guy that's currently on our roster on the last player. This is our new Dylan Bell.
I can see that. Matter of fact, I came away watching his film. Both of them, like either one of these guys could turn into Dylan Bell,
Right. So
which is a good thing, by the way.
and I'm not mad at the high school coach, because what he understands is, which what I say is, you don't have to run a kid all the way down the field to put the ball in his hands. Sometimes just throw it right. Don't even let him go. Just turn around and throw it right out there to him,
Right.
and let him
I'm
do what
with
he
you.
do.
Right, you got to recognize, know your personnel. We say KYP, man, and one of the things you could tell easily on film from the beginning is their coach knows how to use this guy. He's not going to waste time trying to, whether the line gonna hold up in a long drop step. Just get Thomas the ball and get out the way because Thomas gonna do it all. So I like Thomas, man. I'm gonna be honest. Thomas out of the three that we've talked about, Thomas was my personal favorite. So
Okay.
of the between him, Tyler, and
Right.
Landon, I like Thomas because again, it's the yards after the catch. I need this. I like the fact that you catch the ball, but I need you to
Hmm.
do something with the ball. You know what I'm saying?
And he has that physicality with, his stature being 6', 6'1" or somewhere there, around 200 pounds. Imagine him getting in the weight room, being about 210. He'll probably be about 210 after his freshman
Solid,
year. Yeah, so
solid.
he has that he has that Dylan Bell kind of stature where he's like running back size, but can play receiver. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
he's definitely the most physical runner out of this particular group right here. So I'm like you. It's kind of like we're on a trajectory going up with this wide receiver class, and
Right.
I think I like him. Uh, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna take that now.
You like
I
Landon.
I still
Out of
like
the
that.
three so far, you like Landon.
Yeah.
I got you. I got you. So, like, I see this guy as a Z receiver or a slot receiver. And even though we compare him to Dylan Bell, I have always wanted to see what Dylan Bell would look like in the slot. I
Hmm.
know some circumstances hasn't, allowed that. But again, losing players in the all season or losing players to injury, he's had to play mostly X and some Z. But I would like to see somebody like a Thomas Blackshear in that slot role. So it'll be interesting to see where they play him.
Yeah.
I think also like the other three though, because of who we already have and things we're getting, and where they project, I see him redshirting as well.
I do too, and one thing I say to that point you just mentioned, Cole, is it's good that we do have a little bit of depth. This will allow guys to play more natural at their natural positions. You know what I'm saying?
Good point. That's a good point. All right, man. So we got two left, and it's the two that I think the whole dog nation, before we got them as commitments, we wanted them. We definitely recruited them really hard. One we thought was going to Florida State. Kirby never gives up on a recruit in CJ Wiley, and he comes back, and then Talyn Taylor, who's the highest ranked of the five. He was a big get. He's the first 5-star we've had since George Pickens. So I'm gonna let you go first. You could talk about your guy, and then we'll talk about the other guy. We may have the same guy. We'll see. So talk about your guy between Talyn and Talyn. I hope, and hopefully we get to meet the young man and find out how he says. Now I don't know if it's Talyn Taylor or Talyn Taylor.
I'm gonna call him T Taylor, so
T
I won't
Taylor. Okay,
mess
right.
up. Put
That might be good. So
that heat on you.
so T Taylor or CJ Wiley, who's your guy?
So right now you want me to give to you who I think the best guy in the class is.
Right.
Okay. Wow. Mm. I have to, and it's gonna be a caveat to this, but I'm gonna give it.
All
But
right.
right now, I think T Taylor is the best guy in the class right now.
I bet I know what your caveat is. Your caveat is that CJ Wiley could end up being the best receiver in the class.
Yes, and he's 6'3".
Yeah. Now I must say this: CJ Wiley played for Milton and trained with one of your former teammates and my classmates, Terrence Evers. Now Terrence is on record on video saying that CJ is a legit 6'4".
Okay.
So
I
that's
like
even
I
better.
like all that.
So let's just give some measurables between the two, and then we'll talk about both of them. CJ Wiley, 6'4", 195, 247 composite 4-star, the 11th ranked wide receiver in the nation, 82nd top 100 overall player in the nation. And then T. Taylor, 6'1", 173, 247 composite 5-star and top 5 receiver. And in top, I want to say he's number 21 overall player in the nation. So I'm with you. I'm exactly with you. I think coming into next year, T. Taylor is for me just the film that I've seen by far the most polished receiver
Mm,
of the five.
right.
He's a number one player in Illinois. What I like about him is his routes. and his fluidness. Now, I think, and I tried to find a little, some track stats, some speed stats, and when I look at it, what's crazy is when I looked at Talyn, and if you look at him on film, he almost looked like he the fastest of the class. But I think that has a lot to do with his ability to run routes.
Get in
His
and out of breaks.
get in and out of breaks and create separation that
Mm-hmm.
makes you look, a lot faster than the guy that's playing you. Whereas CJ Wiley, outside of Landon, probably is the second fastest in the class. What's crazy?
It shows.
Now
No,
when he get behind you, he getting behind you, he gone. So
so and that's what I would say, and it may not be. That's why I had to add a caveat, because it may not be. I'm gonna be honest with you. It may not be fair to CJ. This is the only knock that I had on CJ, because I only had a little bit of film that I could see, but all his film, nothing was about the route tree. It was all posts and goals.
right,
Now I give him credit for tracking the ball and getting behind the defender and being physical at the line, being able to get behind the defender, all of that. But I didn't really see any curls, any digs, any slants, anything like that. He was just getting behind the defense. So that's the only knock that I gave him, because
right.
T. Taylor, I saw it all. I mean, he's breaking down, he's getting in and out of cuts. The only thing, if I had a knock on, which it just can be coachable, he's just very wild with his arms and hands. When he run his routes, if you watch film, you can tell when he's going to make cuts and breaks, because he make a lot of upper
Movement
body
with
movement. But
right,
that's coachable things. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
that kid knows about running routes, and he knows how to drop his hips and get in and out of breaks and cuts. So with that being said, I don't know. I'm not saying that CJ Wiley can't do that. It's just the highlights that I saw, he was not doing that. But I would expect, if Terrence is going to co-sign him, that he's able to do those things. Maybe
Right.
not
And
to the efficiency that T. Taylor can do right now, but in a year or two, who knows?
Right. I think we're on the same page. And like you said earlier, man, like almost like we was watching the film together. Terrence did say about CJ that he's got a ways to go as far as, again, route tree and things like that. He said the same positives about him: speed, body control,
Mm-hmm.
attacking the ball high, but he still got a lot to learn. And I'm pretty sure, you know, he's working on that with Terrence. And I said the same thing, man. My notes say, I like his height, I like his range and his awareness of the ball when it's in the air.
And that's the one thing he got two things you can't coach, but the main thing is we already know he's fast, but he got that other thing you can't coach. That's
Yeah.
6'3", 6'4".
You can't. And
That's
then
why he might get on the field sooner than
right.
somebody else.
Right. So what I got for him, of course, improvements, and it's not something that I don't say he can. I'm not saying he can't do. I just haven't seen him do like you. It's the route tree, because all his film is just, and it's not like Milton is playing little boy ball either. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Milton was ranked nationally, and they playing big boy ball in Georgia, so that's saying something that he can get behind almost at will. You know what I'm saying? Get behind the defender. I got him, of course, projected as an X, and I got him in the rotation in his freshman year. And when I say rotation, I'm not saying he necessarily in the 2 deep, but I don't think he redshirt. He gonna play more than 4 games. I don't know how many snaps, but his size and that could all depend on what happens with Kobe Young as well. Because if Kobe Young, don't work out and don't come back, then look to see CJ getting a little bit more because his frame should allow him to be a better blocker as well. So, if you can block as a freshman.
Speaking of that, Cole, I did see a highlight where he actually decleated a guy blocking like on
Right.
a wide sweep CJ. And to CJ's credit, too, a lot of things about playing a receiver position. Granted, there were a lot of goal routes and posts and seams, but I also give credit to the kid on tracking the ball. So at least we know his concentration is very, very good because he can track the ball for a long time.
Right. That's what I said. And the same thing with your analysis on T. Taylor, man. My likes, I put routes, fluidness. It looks easy to him, to be honest with
Mm-hmm.
you. And I was like, I don't know a lot about Illinois football, so I was like, well, I don't know. Is it good competition? Is it so? Is it bad? But then, you got at least 4 or 5 highlights from the All American practice when he's going 1-on-1. And of course, this is one-on-one, no live scrimmage, but it's with the pads on, and he's getting away in his routes, creating separation from those DBs as well. And of course, he looks like he has natural hands. It's like he receives the ball. And I know that sounds weird, but if you ever watch the old school movie Mighty Ducks, he tell you receive the puck. Don't try to catch the puck. Receive the puck. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he does that. He creates separation. Now, the one knock I had was crazy. You said that he uses a lot of like control his arms and his movement because like a lot of wide arm movements. When he's running the ball after he catches it, he's kind of less secure than I want him to be with the ball in his yards after catch, because there was a couple of times that he went over the guy like that. I'm not a big fan of that right there because it could come up and hit the top of the dude helmet or something like that. So same kind of thing, like, you know what I'm saying?
When I see a kid like that play, coach, you know, if you haven't played the position, it may be hard to think about it. But when I see a kid like that, this is what I know about T. Taylor. You can tell he plays the position like he knows what he's doing before he do it. He's doing things to set the defender up. This is a guy that knows how to play the position. It's like an art to him. He truly knows how to play the wide receiver position when it comes to route running. So that's the one thing I really appreciate about the craft of playing this position, because a lot of people don't understand. It's like a dance, man. You have to, and dancing is like playing chess. You have to be two, 3 steps in front of the defender. You know what I'm saying, at all times. And I can tell watching the kid, he know what he's doing. So I don't know if he's going to a lot of camps, a lot of 7-on-7, but he's playing a lot of freestyle football somewhere, and that's why he's kind of wild like that. Some of those things can be reined in with coaching once again, though.
Right, and it's probably like I was thinking, like on some of like he has a variety of releases off the line, as opposed to some of the kids you see at that same stage kind of do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like one time I saw him after the snap, he just kind of paused for about a half a second, and the DB came at him, then he just ran around him instead of trying to use some kind of like like a little fake move inside and outside. And I'm gonna tell you what, like one of my favorite routes from T. Taylor. That doggone corner post, dog. Like I don't know what he's doing out there.
He has good one plant goals. You know what I'm saying? He's one step cuts, one step cut. So that means his post corner is boom, boom. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it kills him every time.
And he getting up on them DB toes, man. So when they react to the first move, it's a wrap for him, and he creates so much. Like I say, so much separation is looking like he's again faster. Not to say he's not fast, because he is, but he's looking as fast as Landon in some situations because of how much separation he's creating. Now I got him at the X receiver, and currently I expect Nitro to start or at least go into the spring as the starter at the X. But I look for T. Taylor to be right behind him. To be honest with you, that's what I see from him right now. And I know we got London Humphreys
in the portals from the portals.
Well, I know we got the guys we got out the portal. We got Zachariah Branch, who's going to be in the slot, and we got Noah Thomas, who's 6'6". He's playing the X. So when it comes to the Z, then you're looking at I'm thinking Nitro 6'2", a little bit taller than Talyn. And you got London Humphreys over there, but
who's your X and Z 1 and 2 next year? Because I'm sure Bell is at the Z. You gonna say, well, where Bell at?
Well, if it was up to me, Bell. I think if Noah Thomas come in and do what he's got to do, Bell gonna be up there. It's Bell over at the Z. I want to see Bell at the slot. That's why I want to see him. But I think Bell
about the X and Z.
Right. I'm not the reason. Let me tell you the reason why I ain't putting Bill in there, because I think Bill gonna play more running back this year than he play wide receiver. That's what I think.
We should have been the case last year, but I'm not mad at that.
Because I don't know what the health situation of one of my favorites is Rob Robinson, but between him and Branson, I don't know what the favorites are. I mean, what the injury situation is, and just going based off of history. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna need a RB2.
Okay, so I'm gonna say 2 things, Coach, and I don't want to get us off subject.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this right here. One reason that may not be the case, Coach, because this is Dylan Bell money year. Like
That's true.
you know what I'm saying? He gotta figure out what he gonna play because he gotta know where he gonna be drafted as. You know what I'm saying? They could be taking away money trying to give him all them totes at running back, beating up my body, and they
So
ain't
let
gonna
me,
get much money at the position.
in response to that, and that's a good way to put it, let me say this. I think he will be listed at wide receiver. He will start the game at X, but I think we will use him the same way South Carolina used Debo Samuel, where he's going to be taking snaps out of the backfield. Might be in some wildcat. He's going to take some at receiver. He might move over to the slot. Like I think it's going to be a case where, like, if you go back and watch when we played South Carolina when they had Debo, we didn't know where Debo was going to line up at, and I think if we want to just label him a position, he'll be the starter at the Z spot. But I think Nitro's going to get probably more snaps at the Z because Dylan will be in other spots. Not that he's taking Dylan's shine on the field, but I
So
just
that
think
mean in
Dylan
11 personnel, Dylan would slide to the slot, right?
that that's what I'm saying.
Then you have Nitro and whoever else, you know what I'm saying? The
And
X.
Noah, like I say, and at the X, if everything works out with Kobe, I got Noah and Kobe. And I think CJ still gets some snaps, but not as many. But if everything don't work out with Kobe, I just like working with Terrence. There was, I of course we trust his tutelage, and just looking at the body type that CJ Wiley brings in. There isn't another CJ Wiley outside of Noah Thomas. There isn't another CJ Wiley on the roster. So almost by default, as long as his work ethic is good and he's a willing blocker, he's gonna play. You know what I'm saying?
So we see two of these guys in this particular class possibly getting snapped, right?
Right. I see CJ Wiley and T Taylor both getting on the field next year, regardless of what position Dylan Bell plays, regardless of whether Kobe plays or not. I see both of those guys not redshirting and getting snaps in meaningful time. Like I said, I'm not saying they're gonna be out here catching 3 and 4 passes with 6 targets a game. I'm saying that they definitely gonna get out there, and your production is gonna determine how you go forward.
I'm gonna say this right here. As good as T Taylor is, I can see him possibly getting red shirt and CJ playing. Just because
Because
of
you
all the depth that we have, especially if we get Kobe back.
You
And
saying if we get Kobe back and then Dylan plays full time Z, then you could see Talyn possibly. I can see it. I can see it. Now at the slot, one of the things I will I'm presuming with health, Zachariah Branch starts, but we also got Sokovie White. Now
I like
again,
Kobe.
I like Sokovie. I like what I saw out of Sokovie in high school. I liked the couple of plays he got in and caught the ball last year. So I didn't even mention a lot of getting slot playing time, even though I want to see Dylan in the slot because of those two guys. You know what I'm saying? Barring health. And of course, we don't know what's going to happen there after spring. There is one more transfer portal window. I'm almost positive we're going to lose at least one receiver, if not two. I'm more banking on one. I'm not going to mention them, but we'll see. Uh, to hit the portal, and like you said, maybe Talyn does come in, and if Dylan sticks to the Z and Nitro.
Yeah,
But
I mean
hey,
because
snaps are there to be given. You know what I'm saying? Like we had a lot of drops this year, so we'll see what happens with that.
you have to think about it like this right here, Coach. If I'm a starter in the 2 set, how am I going to start in the 3 set?
True.
You see what I'm saying? So like I know my guy from USC think he might start in the slot, but he might be in the 4th slot. Because you can't take one of the first 2 guys out when you go to a 3 receiver set. you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
It's a
listen.
numbers game.
It sounded like we got a good problem on our hands, though,
There you
Shorty. You
go.
know what I'm
There you
saying?
go.
It sounded like we got a really good problem on our hands. Something where we kind of was searching for this past season, especially after the drop started
Right.
accumulating. We like, what's going on with the depth? Let's get some more people in. I'm not saying it's wide open, but it sounds like we got more depth at the position, barring who we lose in the transfer portal, and going into the season. This is the kind of problem you want to have if you're an elite contender. You want to be like, well, how is this guy going to get on the field because you can't take this guy off? Last year, towards the middle of the season, we was like, take them all off and put more on, that type of deal. So that's it, man. The wide receiver class for the UGA Bulldogs, man, for 2025. This is what we thought. Let us know in the comments what you thought about the class overall. Who's your favorite, and who do you think will get playing time, man? And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, man. For Respect the Hedges, I'm Coach I. That's Shouty. Hey, man, we'll be back live soon once the spring come around. And as always, go Dogs.